Hey, my little goofballs, welcome back to the channel. I have got quite a bit of experiments to show you here. What you're looking at right now is my newest little kind of experiment slash want in the game, and that is I would love to have these like almost little floating bumper boats like you see from Aquatopia at Tokyo Disney Sea. I think maybe a couple other parks kind of like have little versions of these, but they're kind of essentially on, it seems like they're on like a set hidden course. And, you know, they're usually two-seater, and you just go by and you like either, you know, barely miss people, or it's basically like the whole idea is you're in this little lagoon and you're on like these little floating barges. And that is kind of like the idea for this area. And when I teased it yesterday, because, you know, this is actually like a track ride. A lot of you guys said, you're like, Stan, why don't you just use floor pieces to cover the tracks? And that ended up working out awesome. Let me show you, because without the floor pieces, you kind of see everything. So, I mean, yeah, you lose a little bit of that, you know, that really cool water texture, but at the same time, it just, it doesn't look as believable and as realistic if you can actually see, you know, the track that these little guys are riding on. So that's why I took you guys up on your suggestion. You're like, just put some floor pieces down and try to match the color as close to the water as you can get it. And, you know, as far as like when the guests are riding on it and we're doing, you know, down at the POV level, it just looks like they're in a little lagoon. And I think that works perfect. I've got these little custom raft designs that I just attached some scenery to. And yeah, that is kind of how it works. I just lowered it just low enough to where the, you know, like it looks like they're floating on top of the water. And I think it just has, I think this is a pretty cool little effect. If anybody from Frontier is watching, guys, please just go check out Aquatopia at Tokyo Disney Sea. I don't think I'm alone with saying people would flip for that ride system, that style of ride system in Planet Coaster 2. I've got to give a big shout out to Duam. His put his boat on the workshop. Very, very awesome. And I was thinking about maybe doing some custom dock buildings out here, just almost making it look like like the banks of a river. I wanted to do this because I'm going to do a big station too. Like, you know, here is going to be like a covered boathouse, and I wanted to do this for my buddy Yan, because he's did so much work for the park. And remember, this is kind of over here where his wing coaster that he did a lot of work on sat. And like I said, he's done so much work for me and you know, helped out with that. And I've used a lot of his blueprints in the park. I thought that would be a good shout out for my buddy Yan. So yeah, that's what we're going to do with this. And another big shout out I have to give before I take you to the next surprise is Rudy. If you haven't seen it yet, my buddy Rudy, he went into Wilderness Springs and did like an hour-long walkthrough. They went through the whole park, and he's got just an awesome commentary on the park, and so many new eyeballs were brought onto the channel in the last few days just by him putting out that video and taking the time and coming through the park. So huge shout out to Rudy, and because of him and some of his followers, it's made me want to come back in and clean up a lot of Wilderness Springs, particularly from the POV level. And I just thank you all for all your support and suggestions. And my buddy Poe gave me a bunch of screenshots earlier when I asked, like, hey, what could be done better? He just kind of went through the park and showed some things that I might have overlooked. And Beyond Drew gave me some incredible feedback today on our little private Discord. And even Casey, my buddy Casey, that's kind of dabbling into Planet Coaster 2 now. Really, really good feedback. Shifty was going to watch it was going to come into the park. Realistic creator from France that I really, really look up to as well. He was going to come in and take a look at the park for me and just kind of look at the bits and bobs and the in and outs and see what are some areas that I can address and kind of slow down and go back and take a look at. But yeah, this little Jan's Riverboat Adventure, it will take place right over here by Legend of Thunder Falls and kind of like the Timberwolf Revenge area. And I think it's a good little tie-in for the river and kind of like almost like spilling out into the lagoon over here. Very, very water-centric type area. The next thing I've got to show you is I have been in a huge Plastic Swans mood lately, and I took, just to switch it up a little bit, I took one of her train stations and I've brought it over here to the exit of Grizzly Valley. And it just looks so much better over here than copying the Grizzly Valley entrance. Bringing hers over here, I think, is just, it adds so much more character and kind of changes up the vibe of you leaving the land and not just being a carbon copy. It almost even complements the manor better. Just like a really, really kind of Western, power towering train station. I just think it looks really cool and I think it just ushers you out of this area very, very, very nicely. And like I was talking about here from the beginning, this is your station that I built that takes you into Grizzly Valley, and then Plastic Swans exit you out of the land over into whatever that next little area is going to be. One thing I noticed on Rudy's video is a Bear Paw Cafe. I had actually did the inside, but the version that I had been uploading, that I have uploaded recently, it was still the old version before I put in all the glass windows over here and kind of just tidied up the inside a little bit. So from now on, when you're in Wilderness Springs, it will have the proper version with the windows on each side of the cafe. See my little booths over here with the windows looking out? That's not the version that you're playing right now. Would this not be an awesome seat in this booth to sit here and watch as this guy cuts his arm? It would be to be sitting here like just enjoying your burger or something and watching Grizzly Mine go by. Look, there it goes. So like we're sitting here. Look, that would be an awesome, like that would be my corner right there. This would like be my booth. Like if it was open every time I had food, I would be hitting that booth up for the AC. Or you could also, look, I've got tables out here on this patio that you could set out here and eat and watch a Grizzly Mine go by. I think that is very, very cool. Just such a cool area right there. But that is not all I have to show you. You guys may have seen that I teased it. Oh, what's this over here going across the highway? I am testing out having the sky ride, the sky chairs, going from the theme park over to the water park. So I'm gonna put some like safety fencing up right here, so the maintenance would still have access, but regular guests couldn't just turn off and go in there. But yeah, split the woods up a little bit, and I think this would be an awesome way to get back and forth through the through the two parks. And I'm working on the station right now, and kind of like I said, just early test. And if you're actually riding on the Skyliner, you go over the lazy river right here. So I think that would be really, really cool. And then you could come up here and you've got a slight turn that takes you back towards the theme park. And you kind of start your descent. Really, I think the Palace Theater is, I'm going to change that, and that is going to be the Skyliner station. I'll check the monorail going by too, just moving all the people around. So how cool would that be when you're just getting to town and you're coming through here and you're driving under the Skyliner, like making your way to the resort? And you know, I think it's something like it's not too intrusive. It doesn't, like, you know, take up a bunch of skyline space where it's like horribly out of place and noticeable. I just think it's a cool little crossover here on this side of the resort, kind of over here on the entrance side, to get people back and forth into the different parks. And, you know, I sure you would probably, I would think you would just have ticket scanners, because by the time you make it in here, you have already went through security. And by the time you exit over here into the park, or if you get on in the water park, you've went through security as well. And I think maybe that would cut down, like, you know I'm not the king of realism, but would, like, as long as you have to have a ticket to get in, you couldn't, like, come over here and take up all of the water park parking spaces, jump on the Skyliner and go in, because I think that's what a lot of people would try to do, like particularly if the theme park parking filled up, people that weren't even wanting to go to the water park would come over here and try to park just to jump on the Skyliner and head over. And I think you could combat that by, you know, the stations are accessed by you know, ticket entry. So you would go through security, scan your ticket, and then you're in the water park, and you could come over and ride the Skyliner over to the theme park, and you're in the theme park proper, having already gone through security, and you could just scan your ticket for the theme park. Or, you know, if you're a diamond pass holder or whatever, if you're a dual pass holder, you could just make your way right into the park via this Skyliner building. So yeah, that is just some of the little changes, little experiments I'm working on. I thought you guys would think this is really cool now that, you know, we're kind of working more on transportation. Rudy was sending me some messages about the buses, and Poe was too. And I really want to get these set up properly instead of just going off into the woods. I think it would be really cool to actually see guests load up, and we can, you know, map out the route over here and do drop-offs at the front of the park. That would be really cool, like a little shuttle service like we envisioned. And also, a lot of you guys were saying to just get some more kinetic energy out here on the highway, set that bus system up again that leaves the resort and crosses the highway and takes people to the front of the resort as well and drops them off. So you could have buses and trams running from multiple locations back and forth, the monorail running people back and forth, and now even the gondola system, your Skyliner system, taking people back and forth to each park. So yeah, I think that could be really, really awesome. I've got an urge to change this path again, to change the color of it. I can't leave it alone. It's like something I change every week. And but yeah, you know, there's a lot of Rudy's video kind of helped me just look at a lot of little nitpicky stuff that I need to get in here and handle, and things that I might have overlooked or, you know, kind of skipped around on. And, you know, it's like a lot of you guys were saying, you know, talking about me skipping around, and that just kind of being my thing. That's like just that's how I operate. That's how I build in the parks. And you know, sometimes you get areas that do get left behind for a little while, you know, because inspiration strikes, and I am just you know, I go and focus on something new. So, and you know, and sometimes, like Poe said, I get caught up in cinematics, or like I will build something just to get a cinematic shot. And a lot of times that can leave things, you know, only half done for a long while. Like, you know, only building on this side of the train station and the back side being kind of bare. He said, you know, sometimes you can get a little, you're just focusing on builds for cinematics and, you know, and pictures. And he said, I think that can contribute a little bit to you leaving areas unfinished. And it is creepy. Poe like knows me to a T. Like the moment he described that, he's like, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to, you know, like call you out or be rude, but you asked. And I just think that describes my style perfectly, my jumping around style. But, you know, in my head, it keeps things fresh. It's kind of tough to come in here day in and day out and try to hold your all's attention in the same theme park over and over and over again. And I just think that the way I'm doing it, it helps break it up a little bit instead of just, you know, focusing on one ride for 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think you guys would enjoy that. I think that would get old really, really quick. So that's, you know, a lot of times my style leads to a lot of jumping around, you know, and I'll admit, for content creation, that's, you know, that's just kind of the nature that I'm in here. I'm not just building this for myself privately. And I think a lot of times when people are critical of, you know, or do you ever finish anything? Are you ever going to come back to this? You know, those are people that kind of have the luxury of they're just playing on their own. So they have, you know, 2-3 months to work on the same coaster. Whereas SDan, I can't work on the same thing for 2 or 3 months and expect you guys to stick around that long. So it's just, for me, it's kind of just the nature of the business to do different offerings and, you know, bring you guys some different, you know, some different products and views and projects. So, you know, I would just say, you know, mainly the skipping around a lot for me personally, because you might have creators out there that they don't start anything they don't finish, and I commend them. That's just not how my brain works. So I would just contribute it to, as far as YouTube goes, that's just that's the system I use, and the system that I have found works best for me mentally. And I think it drives the best production out of me when I do it like that. So anyways, guys, I'll go ahead and let you out of here. I just wanted to get you a little Monday update of what I have been toying around with. And this is the next little project that's kind of caught my attention, is getting this riverboat kind of attraction up and going, and just seeing if I could make it look believable. So, but anyways, guys, I will let you all get on out of here. I do not want to keep you here a bunch, and yeah, you guys will be sitting here for an hour with my yapping. But yeah, once again, big thanks to Rudy for showcasing that and kind of lighting a little fire under me to get in here and get some more of this detail work done. And yeah, we will just, I'm literally, as soon as I end this video, I'm going to get back to work and just kind of start messing with some stuff. And yeah, I will catch you guys probably in a couple days. We'll get you a midweek update out. And yep, I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.